where the talk can glow. Slow-motion fires off facts like a cannon. Onesie counters with knowledge he's planning. Twisty cracks, white slide grin, no doubt. Napster lays down truth, making the crowd shout. Endless voices like Zubat swarm. The lounge's energy breaks any norm.
Yeah, I
I
was afraid I jumped the gun because I put the podcast on my schedule for the day. I was like, well, we haven't heard from Slobber Onesie. Maybe it's just gonna be Twisty and I today.
Where the talk can glow. Endless voices like Zubat swarm. The lounge's energy breaks any norm. Wild and reckless, but always on track. Four friends talking, they ain't holding back. Trainer lounge screaming loud in the night. Gotta catch the words, feel the fire burn bright. Fast pace for minds that never slow. Podcast beats where the talk can glow.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can discuss that. I am subscribed to way too many political channels. Holy fuck.
Plug it in, power up, voices ignite. Flobadosh leads under pixel light. Onesie's got stats, snaps to slice scheme. Twisty drops, laugh, chasing
Nope,
a dream.
never.
Yep, Animal Crossing New Horizons was my first Switch game.
Pokechats flying like Pokeballs thrown.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, I was locked in my house, so there wasn't much else to do, so.
Electric banter charged like Raichu's tail. Every word's
Yeah.
a spark, every joke a trail.
There were some rumblings for Animal Crossing that I saw when I was searching stuff up, so that's interesting.
Catch the words, feel the
People convinced that there's gonna be a new Animal Crossing soon.
fast takes for minds that never slow. Got podcast beats where the talk can glow. Slow-motion fires off facts like a cannon. Onesie counters with knowledge he's planning. Twisty cracks, white slide
Good
grin,
night.
no doubt. Napster lays down truth, making the crowd shout. Endless voices like Zubat swarm.
I think we might have Mike's live.
Wild and reckless, but always on track. Four friends talking, they ain't holding back. Trainer lounge screaming loud in the night. Gotta catch the words, feel the fire burn bright. Fast takes for minds that never slow. Podcast beats where the talk can glow. Endless voices like Zubat swarm. The lounge's energy breaks any norm. Wild and reckless, but always on track. Four friends talking, they ain't holding back. Trainer lounge screaming loud in the night. can glow. Where the talk can glow. Plug it in, power up, voices ignite. Globadosh leads under pixel light. Onesies got stats, snaps to slice scheme. Twisty drops, laugh, chasing a dream. Pokechats flying like Pokeballs thrown. Tales of battles, roads they've known. Electric banter charge like Raichu's tail. Every word's a spark, every joke a trail. Trainer lounge screaming loud in the night. Gotta catch the words, feel the fire burn bright. Fast takes for minds that never slow. Got podcast beats where the talk can glow. Globadosh fires off facts like a cannon. Onesie counters with knowledge he's planning. Twisty cracks, white slide grin, no doubt. Napster lays down truth, making the crowd shout. Endless voices like Zubat swarm. The lounge's energy breaks any norm. Wild and reckless, but always on track. Four friends talking, they ain't holding back. Trainer lounge screaming loud in the night. Gotta catch the words, feel the fire burn bright. Fast takes for minds that never slow. Podcast beats where the talk can glow. Endless voices like Zubat swarm. The lounge's energy breaks any norm. Wild and reckless, but always on track. Four friends talking, they ain't holding back. Trainer lounge screaming loud in the night. Gotta catch the words, feel the fire burn bright. Fast takes for minds that never slow. Podcast beats where the talk can glow. Where the talk can glow. Podcast beats where the talk can glow. Podcast beats where the talk can glow. Where the talk can glow. Plug it in, power up, voices ignite. Globadosh leads under pixel light. Onesies got stats, snaps to slice scheme. Twisty drops, laugh, chasing a dream. Pokechats flying like Pokeballs thrown. Tales of battles, roads they've known. Electric banter charge like Raichu's tail. Every word's a spark, every joke a trail. Trainer lounge screaming loud in the night. Gotta catch the words, feel the fire burn bright. Fast takes for minds that never slow. Got podcast beats where the talk can glow. Globadosh fires off facts like a cannon. Onesie counters with knowledge he's planning. Twisty cracks, white slide grin, no doubt. Napster lays down truth, making the crowd shout. Endless voices like Zubat swarm. The lounge's energy breaks any norm. Wild and reckless, but always on track. Four friends talking, they ain't holding back. talk and glow. Endless voices like Zubats swarm. The lounge's energy breaks any norm. Wild and reckless, but always on track.
Obviously Switch 2's out now, and we started it again just as the Switch 2 come out, so I think that's fair. Maybe we just start a new season every time a new fucking Nintendo console comes out, you know?
So every 7 years.
Pretty much, but let me
What
know
are
when
we,
you're ready.
Doctor Who?
We just regenerate. So, oh yeah, I've regenerated from Flabberdash to MFG. Twisty's regenerated Twisty's regenerated 4 times, bro. This motherfucker just, it's Twisty something, you know, at this point. Right.
And in fairness, I went from a static picture to a talking potato.
Yeah, you regenerated once into animation, which is crazy. But let me know when you're ready to do the intro, bro.
All right, hit me with that 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, guys, gals, and non-binary pals of the internet. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of the Trainer Launch Podcast. I'm your boy, Napta, and I am joined by our most gracious host, who we're hosting the channel of, MFG. How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad, bro. Not too bad.
And then, of course, we have the artist who's always known as Twisty, but formerly as something else. How you doing, Twisty?
I guess that was me. Yeah. Hi everyone. Since we had that intro, happy Pride Month.
Woo!
I don't
Let's
think
go.
we've mentioned that so far.
Sorry, Pride
I don't think we have either.
It was just Switch 2 came out in the same month, and we're a Nintendo Pokemon channel, so it's like, we love you though. We love you. Shout out to you guys having
Let's
your
go
own
Alphabet Mafia.
Alphabet Mafia. Rah. Mad. That's mad.
That's the American in him talking.
Yeah, there's a language barrier between England and America. Crazy. Yeah, we need to translate. Napster, how are you, mate?
I'm doing quite well. A little bit
Decent.
tired, busy week, but I'm here and I'm ready for a podcast.
Fair enough. Twisty, how are you, my guy?
Pretty good. I decided that I actually wanted to watch the Club World Cup match of Bayern versus Auckland, and they went double digits, so that's cool.
I was gonna say match. That's generous.
Yeah, I know. Slaughter is more correct, but you know,
Fair. Football.
I have
football's a
nothing else
crazy
to add to
sport.
that.
No, that's fine. I have been better, folks, alright? So, if you don't know, for the last 8 months I've been dealing with issues with my chest, right? So then I thought a great idea would have been to spend my best friend's birthday drinking 1 litre of Jack Daniels. Well, not straight up, I'm not that much of an animal. I'm not Napster Potato, do you know what I mean? But
Napster's catching all the strays today.
we had Jack Daniels Fireball with Coke, and because it was his birthday, he just kept giving like 5 glasses by loads of people. So he just kept giving me half because he couldn't drink them. And I probably drank about, no joke, 18 glasses of these drinks, right? As well as shots and as well as fucking beer. And the worst part about it was I did not get drunk in the slightest. I wasn't even tipsy. I just feel like shit. So I couldn't even headbutt a wall and blame it on the drink. I was just like, oh. And today I'm feeling, I've not got a hangover. My head's fine. But my stomach and my body, it's just, I can just feel it, bro. I can just feel it, you know. Look in my eyes, what do you see? Da-na-na-na-na-na. The alcoholic inside of me. Da-na-na-na-na. But no, I'm not an alcoholic.
It's even more hilarious because it's from CM Punk, who was always portrayed as
Straight
the
edge.
sober one.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight edge.
Eli said, your poor liver. Yeah, it's like my lungs don't already face enough of a challenge, you know? And then I have to fucking beat up my liver too. But I don't think I want to drink like that again. I haven't threw up or anything, and that's the thing. Sometimes your body makes you throw up just to get it out of your system. My body ain't even doing that. My body's like, no, motherfucker, you can deal with it now. Deal with it. So yeah, that's fun. Got work tomorrow. I'm hoping after another night's sleep, I'll be fine. The good thing is I'll start my job full time now. So amazing. That's the benefit. You know, woo! That's the good thing. That's the good thing. But we are near the 2-week launch point of Nintendo Switch 2. It's been a bit of a wild run. Napster, have you been playing your Switch 2 often, or not really?
I've been playing it just about every day, but I'm not playing anything that's got anything that's improved by the Switch 2, because it's just been Legends Arceus and Pokemon Home.
Man said he bought the Switch 2 to play Switch 1 games. Let's fucking go.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
At least backwards compatibility was a thing, right? At least that was a thing. I have actually loaded up my Nintendo Switch 2 today after not touching it for about 4 days because I've been doing a lot of wrestling on this channel, right? And I was looking through all my games and I thought, oh, you know what? I've not played in a very long time and I'm feeling a bit shit and I just want to chill. I thought, fuck it, we'll just download Animal Crossing and start again on Animal Crossing. So yeah, I've been playing Animal Crossing all day, and I am going to talk about Animal Crossing in a little bit. But yeah, man, the game's very charming. But Napster, you've played Animal Crossing, right? When you said, I mean, we spoke about it before the podcast, but for those that haven't heard.
For those that weren't here for the hot mic session, the sneak preview. Yeah, I played New Horizons during the spicy cough times when we were all locked in our houses.
And
it was a darn near every day.
Did you enjoy it? Or what was your thoughts and feelings?
Yeah.
Was that your first Animal Crossing?
No. I played Animal Crossing for the GameCube back in the day. I played the Wii Animal Crossing game. Never got the DS ones. Did get the 3DS one. So I played a lot of Animal Crossing over the years.
Right, so you'd be one of the best. Cause I know, Twisty, you've not played Animal Crossing, right?
Nope.
No, okay. So Napster would be the best person to ask. So I just want to get into Animal Crossing quickly. Do you think New Horizons is a good game?
Yeah, I think it's a good game. I think it was the right level of security in the game with them doing a lot of the same, but also the right amount of risk trying new things like the landscape editor, like going around to islands and everything. I think it's the first time I can say a Nintendo franchise balanced the right amount of safe play with risk. And I think Animal Crossing is a really good series at that.
No, that's fair. Do you think it's better than its predecessors as an Animal Crossing game?
See, that's hard to say, because every Animal Crossing kind of ends up being about the same level of quality, in my opinion. Like, it's one of those, like I said, it's one of those consistent franchises.
Yeah.
Like, they know what their core audience is, and they're really good about reaching their core audience with everything they want. I think, for me, it's probably right there with I think it was New Leaf for the 3DS. That was the other one that I played the absolute crap out of.
Apologies if I mute a lot. There's a dog outside being really inconsiderate towards my podcast. Fuck that dog. I think...
how dare that dog not check out everything wrong with WWET?
Bro, right? No, shout out to dogs. I'm a cat person now. So I was watching a few videos on people's thoughts and opinions on Animal Crossing New Horizons, and there are a lot of weird changes that they made in New Horizons compared to the old games. Like, for example, durability on tools. There feels like there's a lot less events than there are in previous games. Previous games feel a bit more cozy, yada yada. Which leads me to my next point. Animal Crossing is one of the biggest Nintendo titles, right? Let's be honest. I think if I do a quick Google search, what are the top 10 selling Nintendo games? Number one's Mario Kart, right? For the Switch.
Yeah, Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
Where would Animal Crossing fall on that list, reckon?
It's probably in the teens.
You think it's the teens?
Yeah.
I think it's
At
high
the
tea.
very least, there, I would actually say that just from how popular it's been, just in general, I think it would break that top 10 barrier.
See, Twisty thinks it'll
I'd
break top
probably
10.
guess like 12.
Napster thinks 12. So Mario Kart's number 1. We know it's not number 1.
Yep.
I can tell you it's in the top 10. Now you know it's in the top 10.
Yep.
Napster, where do you think in the top 10 it is?
I'm gonna guess probably lower top 10, probably like 7th, because
7? Okay.
we've got Mario Kart, we've got Super Smash, which is gonna be a huge seller. Pokemon's always a huge seller. The Legend of Zelda games were wildly popular.
Okay, so I can tell you, Animal Crossing New Horizons is the second best-selling Switch game.
Oh, wow.
I feel like that's more
I was gonna
product
say 4.
timing.
I mean, it may be because of timing, absolutely, but the stats still there, right? The stats are still there. It's regardless to the reason, it's still the second best-selling Nintendo game.
Sales kick W.
Sales kicked up, and it came out obviously 2020. You know, that was what 5 years before the console ended. Since then, we have had 5 years worth of game. I mean, it's sold better than Tears of the Kingdom, sold better than Breath of the Wild, which is weird considering Breath of the Wild was a launch title. You know, it came out 3 years after Breath of the Wild, came out 2 years after Smash Bros. So, Smash Bros, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Pokemon Sword and Shield have all had years over Animal Crossing, but Animal Crossing still outsold every single one of them, which
Elias
It's
makes the
crazy.
point right now that apparently Animal Crossing New Horizons was one of the bundle games.
yeah, I think like obviously when Animal Crossing came out, they know it's a big system seller, right? So of course they're going to release it with Switches, so that is fair. But then so was Breath of the Wild, you know. Breath of the Wild was the first launch title for the Switch one. Well, port if you will. But you know what I mean. The majority of people played it on the Switch, right? Over the Wii U, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I got AC with my Switch. No, fair play, man. So the reason why I ask all this is because obviously it came out during a pivotal time in lockdown, right? And I just want to read out this little article here on if you've never played Animal Crossing, I want to explain to you why Animal Crossing genuinely is very important. So there's actually a website here, the6axis.com, and it says how Animal Crossing New Horizons can improve our mental health. All right, let's face it, Animal Crossing is one of the most charming games. I don't know if Napster, you've ever heard the story about the the older lady who played it non-stop for 2 years. She didn't know how to play video games, but she'd turn on a 3DS just to water her flowers every day and talk to her villagers in the game, you know. Just taking a look at this, reading this paragraph here. Animal Crossing has such a wonderful and rich history, starting with the first game, Animal Forest, releasing in Japan April 14th, 2001. To its current incarnation, Animal Crossing New Horizons, no one could have expected the most recent release to come at a more pertinent time. New Horizon was released on March 20th, 2020, coincidentally a time where it was needed the most. And I do think it's probably the most fitting game to launch on that. Like, when it launched, the world genuinely needed it, at least if you had a Switch, right? I think it was the most ideal game you could have played at the time. I'm just
Probably,
saying.
yeah.
Let's take a look. The dawn of spring market and marked a beginning for lockdown measures in a lot of countries to help manage the spread of the spice cough. Animal Crossing New Horizons was a break from the stress and anxiety created from lockdown as the pandemic took hold around us. Animal Crossing for the Switch not only gave people a sense of routine, because the game follows real time. You know, you log in every day to see what your daily events are, to see what you can do in the city, to meet, you know, your villagers and your neighbours, whatever. With the daily activities that needed to be done and the colourful characters, it also provided as a source of positive psychological well-being. I work as a therapist in private practice, and as well as being a passionate gamer myself, I've been able to see firsthand that Animal Crossing acts as a psychological calm in our current storm of uncertainty, right? I won't read any more. I think the point's there that Animal Crossing done a lot for a lot of people in 2020, right? Especially friends and families who went to each other's islands and just chilled and played games with each other. The question is, the next Animal Crossing game, now that we know Animal Crossing is the second biggest Nintendo Switch game sold, where do you think it is on their priority? Because it's one of their Goliath franchises, no? Or would you not rate it that highly?
You want to take this first, Twister, or you want me to go first?
I'm just gonna go first here. I personally see a strong point for Nintendo to actually invest into Animal Crossing. However, I'm pretty sure that they are aware of the inflated reasoning why people got the Switch game, the Switch version of Animal Crossing. So I'm kind of conflicted here because I think that the artificial pressure that came, pressure in quotation marks, I think it kind of muddies the water a little bit, because if we didn't have a pandemic, how much would that have impacted the actual need for a game like that? It's kind of like guesswork at this point. I would just, from my perspective at least, someone who's never played it and openly admits to that, I think it should be like a middle of a road priority, just treat it as you've normally treated it. Since I don't think that, unless they show some big improvements with quality of life, gameplay changes, whatever it may be, or adjustments to villagers or village sizes. Again, there's a lot to discuss here.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's gonna, with sales KW, outperform New Horizons in the sales department. Whether or not it's gonna be, now we can talk about the impact on the quality of the game, of the franchise itself, but that's complete guesswork as well. So I'm gonna withhold from that, and with that I give over to Napster.
So, I'm gonna rebuttal to your sales kick W argument that it was an outlier. I just looked at the sales numbers for the last two mainline games before New Horizons for Animal Crossing, which were New Leaf and Wild World. Respectively, with the units they sold, they would take 19th and 20th for Switch games with the units they pushed. They would be just below Splatoon and just above Super Mario 3D World.
Okay.
Each of them pushed close to 12 to 13 million units for each of those games.
So,
I just mentioned that because we can't really tell if the pandemic was a big factor in pushing a game like that, or if it was a non-factor. We can't tell because it's all guesswork.
Yeah. It was super inflated, I'll give you that for certain, but Animal Crossing, with the exception of the first game, pushes somewhere in the 8 to 12 million range for almost every release they have. They have a very core
that's fair, that's
demographic
fair.
they go for.
so yeah, go on. Sorry, carry on.
One thing that's interesting to note is I do think that we're going to be due for a new Animal Crossing game soon, because with the exception of New Leaf to New Horizons, it's been about a 4 to 5 year gap between games. That's the only 8-year gap that we've got for main series games. And interestingly, New Horizons is one of the games that didn't get an upgrade pack for the Switch 2.
Okay.
Okay.
And as Elias said, New Horizons was a great way to push bundles for new Switches, which means if we did another new Animal Crossing, it would probably be a good way to get a cozy game to push Switch 2s.
Okay, I'm trying to
Okay.
I'm trying to get something here, just some statistics. So, from what I can tell, the argument would be because of the timing the game launched, that impacted sales. As you said, the games that come prior to it in the same franchise, obviously they still did well for a game, but in terms of compared to New Horizons, they don't compare, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They've got about a quarter of the sales that New Horizons had.
Right, okay. So I want to check something real quick before I say my point, because I don't want to say my point and find out I'm wrong. So I'm just going to quickly try and find out something. Let's take a look, man. I'm just, guys, Odyssey. Just trying to find a certain game. Where's it at, man? Okay, let me check something. So, Mario Odyssey. How did Mario Odyssey do? Mario Odyssey did what? I got it here. Sorry.
Mario Odyssey 29.28 million, fifth highest selling Switch game.
29.28 million. Okay. So I just want to check this. If you can remember that number for me, 29, right?
Yep, I've got it right in front of me.
Nice. I just want to check this, right? So, where would this be? Trying to find this out for argument's sake. But as always, fucking websites just like throw me through a loophole. So let's take a look. So, all right. In that regard, so what was the Animal Crossing New Horizons? Sorry, the sales for that.
New Horizons sold 47.82 million.
47.28. And what was the previous iteration, which I believe was New Leaf, right?
Let me get back to that real quickly, to the actual
Sorry,
Animal Crossing sales. New Leaf sold 13.04 million units.
Okay, so we had a markup of like nearly 30 million people, right? So,
Yeah.
I would say 10 million of that near 40 million sales is because of lockdown. However, if you look at the trends of other Nintendo games, nearly all of them follow the same trend as Animal Crossing. So, for example, Mario Galaxy, 12.8 million, okay, for that sales. And then what was Mario Odyssey again?
29.28 million.
Right, 29.28. So, a huge increase compared to Galaxy. Don't know about Galaxy 2. I don't know if it says Galaxy 2 here, 7 million copies, but normally sequels never really sell as well as the first iteration of games normally. Black and White 2. But my point being, I don't think it was the fact. I think lockdown did play an effect at New Crossing a little bit. I think it's more of the fact of the console it launched on. I think that's a bigger factor than, okay, what I'm thinking main series here, not side games. Zelda, what game would have came before Breath of the Wild?
Give me 1 second and I give you an actual answer to that.
If you can. Right. I'm getting these up myself as well, so here we go.
I think the last one was Skyward Sword. No, I'm crazy for that.
Okay, beyond the Wii, Skyward Sword, you are right. Skyward
Really?
Sword, on the Wii,
Damn.
3 million, and when it released on the Switch, 4 million, but again, it's a port. So in total, that game made 7 million, but I'm going to take off 4 million because that was on the Switch. On the Wii, which by the way is one of the biggest consoles of all time, let's not forget, the Switch beat it, but the Wii was still a mega console, bro. Right? You look at the sales, 3.6 million for Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Then take a look at Breath of the Wild on the Switch. 32 million units sold. So, is it more of the time in the game released, or is it the console it released on? Because you've looked at Odyssey, I could probably do the same thing with Super Smash Brothers. I guarantee that sold heaps and bounds above the previous iteration. You know? Potentially, maybe I'm wrong. But every single game that's
I mean,
released
the
on the
last
Switch...
variation was a mix between 3DS and Wii U, so...
Yeah, I'm just counting... I mean, I count the 3DS one because it's still like in the main line, right? I still count the 3DS because it's the mainline game. But then, as you say, I'd probably count... If it's the same game, if it's a crossover, I'd probably count it as the same. Just put those sales together. But I imagine Smash Brothers done a lot better, no? On the Switch than the previous iteration?
Sure, Ultimate has done leaps and bounds better than Brawl.
No, yeah. I literally got it here for you. So, Super Smash Bros. Video game sales. So, alright. Super Smash Bros.
The
Okay.
laughter says everything.
Do I mention Wii
Oh my
U?
God.
I shouldn't mention Wii U, right? It's not fair to mention Wii U, but I won't mention Wii U. Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS. 9 million sales. Prior to that, we'll say Super Smash Bros. Brawl, 13 million. And then you look at the one on the Switch, 35 million. Every game I've mentioned kind of proves my point. Every single game has had a stupid markup the moment it's gone to the Switch in sales. So I think after looking at all those games, we can kind of look at Animal Crossing and go, maybe it's the console more than the time it released, right? I think the time it released helped it in certain units, but I do think it's more the console. But with that being said, I want to get into this next article that follows on. Listen, I'm great at these transitions today. My transitions are on fire right now. So let me get onto this fire. Let me get onto this.
Maybe you should drink more.
Hey, maybe. Right. Nintendo Switch 2 sets the all-time launch record for hardware in the US, beating the PlayStation 4. The new Nintendo console is enjoying big success around the world. Nintendo Switch 2 has set a new record by enjoying the biggest launch week of any game's hardware in US history. And again, that's just US, bro. We're not even talking about other countries like Japan, where the thing's intended for in the first place, right? The record previously held by PS4 has been smashed by Nintendo's console, which sold 1.1 million Nintendo Switch units in the US during its first week on sale. In the US, almost 80% of players purchased a Nintendo Switch 2 also purchased Mario Kart World, either as a standalone physical game or as a part of the bundle included in the game pack and title. According to Circana data, the 3 best-selling physical games during the Switch 2's launch were... Actually, I want to see if you guys can get it. You guys can guess it. What were the 3 best physical releases for the Switch 2 on launch?
Oh gosh.
I'm gonna say Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Kart World. Wait, do we exclude Mario Kart World or?
No, you can include it if you want, because it was a launch lineup.
Okay, yeah, Mario Kart World and
Think about what game's been advertised with the Switch 2.
Yes, we know Mario Kart World.
I was gonna say, like, is the new Donkey Kong out already?
Yeah, I think that's out. I'm pretty sure that's out. Bonanzas, I'm sure it is. There's another game that's been on previous consoles that's heavily advertised on the Switch. I'll give you this one for free. A third-party game. One of the biggest games in recent years, I'd say.
I mean, the only thing that's going to mind is
Feels so
Cyberpunk,
stupid
maybe.
right now.
So Nap's saying Cyberpunk. Okay, but Nap, while Twisty thinks of his third, what's your 3 games you think are the best-selling physical games on the Switch 2 so far?
I mean, Mario Kart World is the obvious one. Everyone was talking about World coming into it.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077, just people want to really limit test where the Switch 2 is at.
Okay.
See if it actually holds up to the other consoles.
Okay.
And then the third one's the one that I'm struggling with.
You know what? Yeah, Cyberpunk. I'm gonna make that my third.
Any idea for your third, Napster?
I'm trying to remember what's on the Switch 2, because everything is...
I'm also counting like the upgrade ports, like for example, not Scarlet Violet, like Breath of the Wild and Switch 2, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. You can also buy now as Switch 2 games physically. So I'm also counting those 2 if you want. So all of the ones that have a Switch 2 box, whether it was on the old console or not, if it's got an upgrade and it's now a Switch 2 game, they also count.
Yeah,
When you
why I
say an
picked you.
upgrade, you mean like Scarlet and Violet?
Nah, like I don't know if there is a Scarlet and Violet Switch 2 physical edition. I don't know, but I mean like
I don't believe there is.
you have to pay. You know the ones you have to pay for, where it's upgraded to a Switch 2 version. Like I know Scarlet and Violet's got a Switch 2 version, but for example, there are physical versions for Tears of the Kingdom on Switch 2. I think for Breath of the Wild, for Mario Wonder, maybe a few other games too that are on the Switch too that have come from the old Switch. So Twisty's gone with Cyberpunk, Mario Kart World, and I believe Twisty said Tears
Yes.
of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
So what's your
I hate
three?
myself for saying the third one.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say Mario Kart World. I'm gonna say Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm gonna unfortunately think the worst of gamers and think that the Welcome Tour is up there.
So one of you are 100% correct with all three of your guesses. And the person that is
Congrats, Napster.
the person that 100% is correct is in fact Twisty. So
Let's go, Twist.
the three bet. I mean, technically Napster gave him Cyberpunk, so you know, take it as you take
Yeah,
it. But the
I'm not taking full credit for that.
the best three selling physical games during the Switch 2's launch week were Mario Kart World, Cyberpunk 2077, and Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. The success story of the Nintendo Switch 2 is much the same in Japan, where it has enjoyed a huge launch. Famitsu has published hardware sales for the week ending June 8th, which covers Switch 2's first 4 days on sale in Japan, revealing in some 947,000 consoles were sold. And more impressively, this data is unlikely to include sales on Nintendo's official My Nintendo store, which would almost certainly take the Switch 2's Japanese debut to over 1 million units. So, we talk about
Holy fuck.
the Switch being popular. We talk about the increase in every single franchise in the world that launched on the Switch having a heap and bound sales unit above their previous editions. Now you talk about the Switch 2 being the biggest console probably ever made so far, right? It's definitely overtaking PS5. So, how big are the games going to be now on the Switch 2? Animal Crossing. We'll go back to Animal Crossing. It's Nintendo know it's their second best selling game. So is that would you call Animal Crossing a big hitter for Nintendo?
Absolutely.
You would, yeah? Okay. Twist, would you say it's a big
Yeah.
hitter now? Because they probably look at the time as well, right?
I will absolutely admit that I was a little bit caught in the whole pandemic thing and that being a factor. I will admit that. So
It's understandable.
that's what really influenced my judgment regarding like the priority that Nintendo should give it. With like that whole new information and that refresh of certain things that I just either completely forgot about or I willingly ignored. I think, yeah, they should definitely have a higher priority than I initially like gave Animal Crossing credit for. Yeah, I'm also gonna end my argument here.
Just a sideball. Napster, I might be hearing things. Does Twisty's voice sound like it's on helium to you?
I don't think so, but
No, I swear. Twisty, just say a sentence. Napster, listen carefully. It's like he's got helium. It's not his normal voice.
Hello? Are you hearing me?
Swear.
Do you have voice mod and you're changing me?
I haven't. Elias said I thought the same, to be fair. Twist,
Huh?
has your mic done a mad one? Like, normally your voice, I can tell like the vocal bass in your voice, but it's like it's just gone higher. I don't know if like your bollocks got caught in your stomach or something, but like it's up there, you know. I'm just checking because is it just me? I know Elias said the same.
Hello? Is this normal now? Is this better?
I think that's better. I'll tell you. I'll let you know if it's a thing. I'll be like, yo, I want you to listen back to this podcast when I upload it. Just listen to what I mean, bro. See if you agree, because your voice isn't that high. Pyro said I noticed it too.
You're getting the watch time, haha.
See, that's the normal Twisty voice, folks. See, I know my boy, man. I know. I spoke to Twisty too much. I know his voice. I know his voice. Welcome back, Twisty. You was here for an imposter. We've been talking about Nintendo Switch 2. Hi, Deadly Passengers. How are you? How is everyone in chat?
Sucks.
Just to go back to the big hitters conversation,
Yeah,
I'm going to feed you
sorry.
some numbers real quickly.
Okay.
So, worldwide, Mario franchise has sold the most copies for a single series ever. It sold 956.15 million units across all Mario games.
Wait, which one? Sorry.
Just Mario in general, like the whole
Oh.
series, the whole IP of Mario.
Okay.
That includes like Mario Kart, Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, all that fun stuff, Mario RPG. Pokemon is Nintendo's number 2 at 489 million. That should surprise no one.
Uh-huh.
Then we go down to The Legend of Zelda, which has
Yeah.
done 168.362 million units.
Not shocked.
And then for Nintendo franchises, Animal Crossing comes in at number 4 with 81.83 million, just a little bit above Xbox's Halo series.
When Animal Crossing is bigger than Halo, Halo's a meme, I understand it, but it's still a fucking huge franchise, bro. But now that you've said that, to understand that it's hilarious actually that four titles are all Nintendo games, man. So it's undoubtedly a big hitter, no?
Yeah, and then the next one for Nintendo is Super Smash Brothers at just over 77 million.
I mean, quickly back to Halo, we have to exclude the whole free for free clusterfuck scenario. I think then it's a fair assessment of Halo.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Halo's number 5 there is absolutely mad. To be honest with you, that is crazy. So
Halo's not number 5 on this list. I'm just giving you an idea of where it falls in terms of video games all time.
I thought you said. I thought you said Halo was 5th. Sorry.
No. I was saying that Animal Crossing is 4th amongst Nintendo's titles, and worldwide comes in just above Halo.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
no.
misheard you.
It goes Mario, Tetris, Call of Duty, Pokemon, Grand Theft Auto for the top 5.
Yeah,
Which shocks basically no one.
I was confused actually. GEA wasn't the top 5 when you said it. I was like, oh, but okay, that makes sense.
No, I was just going Nintendo exclusive IPs, since Nintendo is the only one that really maintains exclusivity in this day and age.
True. They
Was-
actually
wasn't wasn't Animal Crossing released on the same day as Doom? Because I
Yeah,
had
it
that
was.
mental
are.
image
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
like-
yeah.
of like Animal Crossing characters fighting against Master Chief.
Yeah, because on Twitter, before it was X, the Animal Crossing Twitter page and the Doom Twitter page were tweeting each other, having a bit of fun with each other, and fan art of Isabel and fucking Doom guy together. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, but
Back when Twitter was usable. Ah, the good old days.
Who's stronger, a secretary or a primordial? Let's go.
So, we are in the first year of the Nintendo Switch, right? Nintendo Switch 2, excuse me. We had to wait 3 years until Animal Crossing came out on the Switch 1. So, Animal Crossing came out approximately 5 years ago. Literally 5 years and 2 months, right? When's your prediction for Animal Crossing? Now, before you give me a prediction, I want to give you some more information, just so you might be able to predict a little bit easier. The same team that makes Animal Crossing is also the same team that makes Splatoon. Fun fact. Splatoon also in the news. The most recent game, Splatoon 3. Fun story for you in a minute that I've already told Napster and Twisted. But Splatoon 3, the most recent in the main line of the games for the Splatoon games. Splatoon Raiders was announced. I don't know, was it announced yesterday? Today? When was it announced? I think it was pretty recent.
June 10th.
I think 2
5
days
days.
ago.
5 days. 5 days. Okay.
The
So-
article I saw
Never
said
mind.
June 10th.
Do you know what?
Okay, yeah.
What Splatoon Raiders is, Nap? Have you got any information on it? If not, I've got you. But
I haven't a Scooby about what it is.
okay. So for those that have played Splatoon 1, 2, and 3, it's basically a child-friendly Call of Duty. Okay, you don't shoot bullets, you shoot paint, but it's actually very fun. Napster played the first one on the Wii U. Wii U, was it? Wii U.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wii U.
And did you have fun with it when you first played it?
Oh yeah, I freaking loved it. I spent so much time playing it in my grandparents' basement with my besties from high school.
Oh, really good game. I love Splatoon 2. I actually forgot Splatoon 3 was out and I told Twisty and Napster this already. I was like, I wonder when Splatoon 3 is coming out. And I googled it. It turns out Splatoon 3 is already out. So I was like, wait, what? The game's already out? And it turns out I've already got the game and I've already played the game. I just have no recollection of ever playing the game. So, a bit like Pokemon Sun and Moon, right? I forget it's a thing. But, sorry, that was uncalled for. That was
Lola slander.
that
When
was,
Onesie's not even here to defend it.
You're lucky that Onesie isn't here right now.
That's all right, Onesie.
Alola
Fuck your
is an
region.
underrated region.
Says
It's
no
on par
one.
with Hoenn.
What? No, okay. Anyway, right. Moving swiftly forward.
They're both
before-
water-centric regions. It's basically Hoenn, but American.
So,
Makes it worse.
Splatoon 1, 2, and 3, your online shooters. It's got like a little bit of a single player, but it's not really in depth at all. However, Splatoon Raiders is the newest title in Nintendo's ever popular Splatoon franchise, announced very suddenly through publishers Nintendo's Today app. Splatoon Raiders is set to be the first spin-off title in the franchise, following its very successful trilogy across the Wii U and Nintendo Switch. Between this and the new title and the noteworthy Switch 2 upgrade to the franchise's latest entry, Splatoon 3, Nintendo is clearly continuing to keep Splatoon fever going strong on its new console, even without a new mainline title. Splatoon Raiders is one of a number of spin-off titles that Nintendo has already announced for the release on the Nintendo Switch 2. Between the already released Mario Kart World, a spin-off of the larger Mario series, despite Kart probably being bigger than the mainline games now, and the upcoming Kirby Air Riders and Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, it speaks to Nintendo's confidence of this game's development and the success of the Nintendo Switch line that the publisher has created excitement for this system. So basically, Splatoon Raiders is a single-player game. It's not really online. It's more story-focused. It's more getting into the lore of Splatoon, and I'm quite excited about that because I was very confused. Very confused. I had no idea about the lore of Splatoon. None of it makes sense to me. It's just a bunch of squid shooting each other. I don't get it. It's just fun as fuck. The reason I mentioned Splatoon Raiders, though, is this leads me to believe that an Animal Crossing game is coming sooner than later, because if they're clearly not working on Splatoon 4, because that would have been what they're working on. They put their efforts into a Splatoon spin-off, which leads me to believe the next game from them after Raiders will be Animal Crossing, whatever you want to call it, right? Animal Crossing fucking Tables Edition, who knows? But do you think I'm wrong? I'll ask Twisty first. Do you think we'll get Animal Crossing before Splatoon 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Napster, do you think we'll get Splatoon Animal Crossing before Splatoon 4?
Chat, I want you to clip this. I want you to hold me to this. I am predicting August 21st, 2026, we are getting a new Animal Crossing game.
Okay.
Why so? Wait, August or what? Sorry, 21st.
August 21st of 2026. It's the third Friday in August.
Why
Of next
so?
year.
Very specific.
Why so? Yeah, why so precise?
Just the day that I'm feeling. I was thinking August 2026, and I figured I'd go just throw it all at the wall so then chat control me when I'm wrong, and I can gloat when I'm right.
I mean, do we need to go and talk about? Do we go and talk about our predictions for ZA? Because we all got that one wrong.
Yeah.
That's half the fun of it, is letting chat troll us, isn't it?
I mean, that is true. Do you know what I didn't get wrong? ZA is not an exclusive game. Fuck you. No, I'm joking. Right. So I have to bring it up once a podcast. You know I have to do it. It's just etched into my mind. So you said 2026, and I'm actually going to agree with Napster here. Twist, when do you think it will release? What's your guess? Napster said next year. I agree with Napster.
Also, Pyro makes a really good point. Next year is the 25th anniversary of the first Animal Crossing game.
Oh, well, that's a beautiful coincidence.
March of 2001, Animal Crossing came out. I do believe it was.
Well, I was gonna say 2027, maybe around April, but with that anniversary in mind, I kind of have to go 2026 because I don't think there are a lot of developers that would leave an anniversary like that on the line. So yeah, I'm not gonna be as specific. I think it's gonna be maybe May 2026.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go with that.
So I'll ask both of you because we all live in different countries. So I'm just asking. Obviously, in the UK over here, a lot of schools are out for summer. We get 6 weeks off. We get about around the 20th mark in July, and then we're off for the end of July, whole of August, beginning of September. In America,
Same.
Napster, do you have anything similar?
So it's not 6 weeks off, I can tell you that. School should have gotten out last week, like on Friday, and I don't believe they go back until the first Tuesday of September.
Wait, so it's more than 6 weeks?
Yeah, it's close to 3 months.
Wow. So
Damn.
like 12 weeks school's out in America.
That explains a lot.
Oh no.
Yeah, it does depend on the state laws. Each state does it differently.
Okay. Okay, so
Is Twisty out over here making fun of my intelligence? Is that what I just heard?
No, I think it's more America as a whole than it is you, I think.
Just because I have the IQ of a melted candle, okay?
Fucking hell. Wow, a melted candle. To even come up with that, you've got to have a half decent IQ in my opinion.
Yeah.
But hi babes, you okay? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a featured Sophie. Do you want to come and say hello? Can I have a hug?
Hi,
Keep on your way
Sophie.
to the right channel.
So people know that I'm not a virgin. Thank you.
Everyone knows we had a child, Carol.
Ah, I'm getting strangled. Can you put it on harder, please? Thank you. Okay, thanks. Yeah, lovely. Anyway, so also another reason, just a fun fact for you. You know on MFG, I'm going somewhere with this. You know on X, I've got 3,500 followers, right?
Sure.
Right, Twisty, I didn't hear a word. I heard what Napster said. I just didn't hear what you said with them. Napster, can you hear Twisty?
Twisty just went full Rob on us. That's full robot.
Right. All I saw was.
Oh, now he's going Joker mode.
Why so
I
serious?
said Twitter.
Oh, Twitter. Right. Okay, my bad. So, but here's the fun thing. Did you know Sophie, on her Animal Crossing Instagram, had over 10,000 followers?
Let's go, Soph.
So that. Sophie, was I wrong? Your Instagram, how many followers was it?
Couple of thousand, maybe?
Oh, I thought it was 10,000.
No, not fucking crazy.
Well, no, but MFG's got 3,500. It was more than that, weren't it?
I don't think so.
Nah, I thought you said about.
No, we got a couple of thousand.
Oh, okay. Regardless, still impressive.
Really
Try and find out for me before the end. But yeah, so that goes to show the amount of people playing. So I'm going to say to Napster why I agree with Napster next year. So I'm going to say next year, but I think next year, the beginning of July is when we'll get the next Animal Crossing game. Number one, America will already be out of school by then. Number two, the UK will begin to come out of school, 2 weeks after then. Twisty, when in Germany do you guys come out of school?
Also around like July.
Summer.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for them to release a game when people have got a lot of time to kill, kind of like COVID. The number two reason why I think a new Animal Crossing game is coming next year is because does anybody know the Animal Crossing, is it Pocket Camp? Their little spin-off game for the phone? I don't know if you know of it.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's Pocket Camp.
Pocket
Of
Camp.
it.
That's the one. So, do you know when they stop support for that game?
Nope.
This September.
This year.
So this year. This year they're stopping support for Pocket Camp. If they're going to stop support for the only thing right now that's got content for Animal Crossing, to me that means one thing, and that means that something's coming very soon. By very soon in today's day and age with gaming means a year, but I think it'll be next year for that reason alone, and I think it's going to be July. The interesting thing is,
So-
oh, go on now.
You've been mentioning school years, and I want to mention the school year that none of us are a part of. That's kind of important to a Nintendo release as well. The Japanese term ends usually around the end of July, and then they pick up in September.
So very similar to the UK. Very similar to the UK.
Which is why part of the reason why I think it's an August release as well is because then the Japanese students are on holiday.
See, I'd say late July, because if it releases the 21st of August, half of the holidays are gone by that point. Whereas surely you'd want to capitalise on most of the holiday if you could, you know? In my opinion, I don't know. But regardless of the fact, I think we're both right. I think it's next year. I could be wrong though. Sophie said, yeah, over 3K, never hit the 4K mark, I don't think. Okay, so it was 2.8K currently. Obviously, a lot unfollowed since I rebranded it twice. So Sophie had about probably the same followers I do on MFG. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that, about when it does. And one last question regarding Animal Crossing before we quickly move on. How well do you think it would do? And I'm going to ask you boys, as a fun little question. I want you to give me, right now, the 15th of June 2025, I want you to predict the 5 biggest Nintendo Switch 2 games of all time. By the time the console ends and we've got the next Nintendo console, I want us to predict what the top 5 games will be. And I know we don't know what games are coming, but I just want you to think about what might come, what franchises. What would your top 5 games be by sales, if you think? And chat, go for it as well. I want to hear your predictions. I'll go first to let you guys think. I think number 1 is Mario Kart World.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Safe, yeah.
I think it's a no-brainer. I think Mario Kart World is an absolute fucking no-brainer.
Yeah.
I am going... Oh, where is the top 10 list from Nintendo? Shit, I had it up. Where is it? Let me find it. Because I want to quickly just reference this before I do anything. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look. So where does this game fall? So, it didn't matter that Mario Odyssey beat Scarlet and Violet. That's crazy. Ooh. See, because with what Twisty said, I wouldn't put Animal Crossing a second for the new generation. Because I do think a good 10 million units are from COVID sales. I wouldn't put Animal Crossing number 2. Like I said, Mario Kart World's number 1. I think we're getting a new Super Smash Bros. For the Switch 2. We have to, right?
I don't think we are.
Debatable.
Do you reckon?
I mean, it really depends on if it's a real Smash Bros that has Sakurai in it, or if it's just that Sakurai goes completely away from it because he's so burned out with like the franchise.
That's what I was thinking, is because Sakurai said he's not going to be a part of it anymore. I don't think we're going to see Smash Bros. For a while.
But he doesn't have to be, no?
I mean, he was the creative director of the series.
But he
It's
doesn't
kind of
own
like
the franchise.
one of his children.
No, I get it's one of his children, but if Masuda decided to go, I don't really want to do Pokemon anymore, do you think the Nintendo and Pokemon company are going to go, yeah, mate, we'll wait for your word? Or do you think they're going to go, fuck that, this prints money, we're making a game, mate? What do you reckon happens? Because it's the 3rd best-selling game on the Switch. Do you really think Super Smash Bros. Is not coming for the biggest selling console currently, the Switch 2? Do you not think that's going to be a thing?
I think we'll see a port of Ultimate, but ultimately,
That's a shout.
Super Smash
That's a
doesn't.
shout.
Super Smash doesn't have the same timeline that Pokemon does. Pokemon has a set schedule where we got to turn these out by this point, get it out. Super Smash, we've had 4 installments in the better part of 28 years. They just have been ported to different systems.
Yeah, we've had what? We've had Brawl. We've had
Melee, original.
Yeah, because I mean, it was on the last. It was on the. I think the last console it was on before the Switch was the Wii, right? And the 3DS.
So there was Wii U, 3DS, which was the same version.
Yep.
The Wii U's a myth. It's
And
fine.
then, hey, I love the Wii U. I will not hear this Wii U slander.
Hey, tell it to the millions of other people that say it, bro.
This is
Say
not
it to
slander.
them.
And then it was Brawl before that. So we had about a 6-year gap between Brawl and 3DS. And we had 4 years between 3DS and Switch for Ultimate.
I think you're right. I think a port is more than likely. But if you do not think we're not getting Smash Bros in any way, shape, or form, I can't agree with that. I cannot agree with that. There's no way their third biggest selling title on the Nintendo Switch doesn't come back this generation. That is, and I understand what you mean by Pokemon and Scarlet and Violet. I mean, just Pokemon being on a different schedule. I do understand that because it's they have to have merchandise and cards and everything depending on the main series. I understand that, but what I mean is just take Okay, if not Pokemon, take Animal Crossing, take Zelda. If any of their directors of the team said, I don't know, man, I'm a bit burnt out after New Horizons, I don't think I want to make another game. Nintendo don't give a fuck, bro. They'll get someone else to make it. Like, they know it's gonna print money. Oh, got a follow. Hello. Right, bear with me, folks, bear with me. I can't hear you. Someone just dropped the sub on the channel. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're back. My bad. Yo. So yeah, I think it's crazy to me that there's a possible chance that people think Smash Bros isn't coming to Switch 2, bro. I don't know. I got most of my predictions right though, gang. Don't forget that. I got my predictions right, man. So I'm just saying, I'm on a
Appeal
hit
to
record.
authority. Nope. I know my ways around fallacies.
I think Napster could be right though. I could see a port potentially. I do partly agree with Napster with a port. To be fair, I think that's probably more.
I also think that if we see anything Smash Bros related, it would be like a Switch 2 upgrade pack that you, I don't know, pay $10 for and then you have it there.
Yeah. Just to continue on, Pyro said in no particular order: Mario Kart World, a new Mario game, a new Pokemon game, likely Gen 10, a new Zelda, and a new Animal Crossing. I think that's a fantastic top 5 list, to be honest with you. I think because the only difference between that list and the official list of the Switch 1 is that there's Super Smash Bros. In it instead of Pokemon, whereas Pokemon came 6th. Which is mad considering there's 2 copies. Fair play to Odyssey, bro. That's wild. So are you guys agreeing with Pyro in terms of top 5? Would that be your list too? Whether the order's different?
Slightly. I'm going to make a bit of a caveat to this.
Okay.
So, I think Pyro's been too specific with Gen 10. I'm going to be equally specific but disagree. I think it's going to be Gen 11 for the Switch 2, which is going to be the better selling one. As it does seem like on most...
I'm listening.
It seems like they got it down a little bit better on the Switch as they got later into the console. And I feel like Pokemon games have been kind of rough in the past couple. So I think that it's going to take a little bit of getting back consumer confidence to reach the same sales KEKW numbers that they're looking for.
So Nap, I'm just checking the time. Do you have to bounce in about 2 minutes?
Probably should, but we'll see where this goes.
Okay. Would you let me know when you need to bounce? But I'll say this. I want to rebuttal you and actually side with Pyro. For once, Pyro, it's a rare occurrence. Mark it down, man. Mark it down. I think Pyro's...
This is my calendar.
I think Pyro's right. Generation 10's the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. There is no way that game does not get marketed out of the fucking room. And I'm going to go one step further and say something I don't think any of you will agree with me. I think this is a very hot take. Generation 10 will be the second best selling Nintendo Switch 2 game. It's the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. It's their big game. Probably the biggest Pokemon game we're ever going to have in years, I think. I don't think Generation 11's topping Gen 10 in terms of the... I think it's going to be insane. It's 30 years, bro. Gen 10, it's a big generation to have. I think Generation 10's the second best-selling game on the Switch. I really do. Feel free to rebuttal it. I just think Gen 11's sort of like, okay, we've had the Big 10, now we're starting again. Like, maybe Gen 11's more of a reboot style for me, because you've had the first 10 generations, and now maybe they go a different direction. I don't know. But I think 10's the big one, bro. I can't see 11 being the big one. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
And then the other thing I was gonna say is not Jamboree, but I think a second Mario Party game will probably be in that top 5 instead of the new Mario game.
You don't think we're getting a new Mario game?
No, I'm not saying that we won't get a Mario game.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't think Mario game will be top 5. I'm gonna say a new Mario Party after Jamboree.
Really?
We'll probably slot into the 5th slot.
Nah, a Mario game definitely gets there, in my opinion. Definitely. I don't know if... I'll just check some already quick. Twisty, thoughts and feelings on Generation 10 being the second best-selling Switch game. Am I wrong? By all means, tell me if I am.
It's definitely a contentious topic. Technically, Gen 8 did better sales-wise than Gen 9, so I can kind of see the point. And unless Game Freak is really a complete fuck-up and they somehow mess up the whole Gen 10 big celebration anniversary, I don't see Gen 10 not... That was a bad way of wording it, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I totally see Gen 10 being among the best-selling Pokemon games, perhaps even outselling, depending on how they do, just in general, and how much they appeal to the fan base in the necessary ways, that they might even outshine Gen 1.
Yeah, that's difficult, yeah.
So I definitely see your point. Like, it's supposed to be this big thing. It's like big anniversary. Also, you're heading into double digits. It's supposed to be special. The only thing that really I think would hold it back is one, the pretty much irreparable damage that Scarlet and Violet did to the fan base with the half-assed product we've gotten on the Switch. And I swear to fucking shit, anyone who tells me you should have waited for a Switch 2, I'm gonna slap you silly. And I'm a what's the word? I'm a pacifist. You get me to that position. But yeah, in general, I do think that if they don't massively fuck this up in terms of like how much they crunch, how much they just don't care in general, that's like the only thing that would hold Gen 10 back. But I mean, that's not something specific to Pokemon. It's like that for every single franchise. Yeah, that's like the only thing that I can see that would hold it back, just on the importance that's behind it.
Okay. I have another thing again. Sounds like I've got something against Napster now. I have another thing against Napster's argument that we forgot to mention too. What do Generation 10, Sword and Shield, X and Y, Diamond and Pearl all have in common?
They're all blue-red game cases.
Nearly Napster, nearly. So, Generation 10 will be the first Pokemon game on the Nintendo Switch 2. No, motherfuckers, Legends EA does not count because it's built for the Switch 1, optimized for the Switch 2, alright? Does not count. Generation 10 will be the first game designed for the Switch 2. It will not be on Switch 1. I'm telling you now. Like, it will not be on Switch 1, alright? It will be on Switch 2. They know it's going to be a system seller. They're hoping that's what Generation 10 will be. But in the history, we follow a trend. Of every single first Pokemon game to come out on a brand new console, tends to be the best-selling Pokemon game of that generation. Let's take a look at Generation 3, right? Let me have a look. So, Generation 3, Ruby and Sapphire sold 16 million copies, whereas Fire Red and Leaf Green sold 12 million. All right. Now, someone will say, oh, but Fire Red and Leaf Green was a remake, so that's why it sold less. Okay, then. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl sold 17,600,000 copies, whereas Black and White sold 15 million. The first game on the new console is the one that makes the huge sales because that's where the hype is. It's where people go, oh my god, brand new Pokemon game, brand new system. It's going to be the best Pokemon game we've ever had, and everyone floods to buy it. Same thing with X and Y, Sun and Moon, right? X and Y didn't really outsell Sun and Moon massively, but it did outsell it by about 400,000 copies. X and Y sold more. First Pokemon game on the 3DS. The only Pokemon game that breaks that tradition is Scarlet and Violet on the Nintendo Switch.
Yup.
However, Scarlet, I understand it. Sword and Shield, Sword and Shield did very well, and it took, I think, until literally last year for Scarlet and Violet to break that barrier, right? I think last year they overtook Sword and Shield. So Sword and Shield...
Pretty sure it was early this year.
Oh, early 2025, fair enough. So, so it took them all the way up until this year to overtake Sword and Shield. So for the whole generation, Sword and Shield was above them just until this year. But it's not like Scarlet and Violet is the big Gen 10. It's not the 30th anniversary, right? So to me, Gen 11 just does not sound like Generation 10. Generation 10 just seems big to me. Whereas Gen 11's more exciting. I think Gen 10's going to be traditional, but in a big way. And I think Gen 11's going to be a departure into a new thing. That's what I think Gen 11 will be. But it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting to see what we do. Elias said they'll probably drop a 30th anniversary TCG back and call it a day.
Dear God, no 30th anniversary TCG packs. I was burned by that with Magic.
Imagine. But I'm interested to see what happens in Napster. I'm interested to see what happens. I don't know if any of you two have anything to add to that conversation. Obviously, the last topic was champions, which will be a fairly quick topic, to be honest. I don't think there's too much to go into it.
Yeah, fuck VGC.
When does champions...
I'm so happy one isn't here right now.
When does champions release?
Do we have an official release date for it? I didn't think we did.
No, we don't. That's it's more of the guess. When do you think it will release? Sorry, I should have. That's my fault. I should have explained that point a bit clearer.
I'm curious if they've even given us a time frame.
I think 2025. Pretty sure. Right? Am I wrong with that?
Oh.
Um.
I'm checking right now.
Oh, it's actually not got a release date, so it's not even said this year. Okay.
Yeah, I just saw it as well.
I'm gonna say probably early 2026. Just on the grounds that they've gotta get all the mega sprites from ZA all set to go for it, as well as the Scarlet and Violet sprites and all that stuff. So it's gonna be a little bit more work than the typical Pokemon spin-off game, just because of the sheer amount they're gonna have to do to start.
And will the VGC Championships take part? Will the VGC Championships take place on Champions rather than Nintendo Switch?
Dear God, I hope so. Dear God, I hope so.
Does logic not point to that though?
The only thing that might keep it from doing so is that they want people to have to buy Switch 2 consoles to play, because otherwise people can just play VGC on their phone.
Because they've already confirmed it for the phone. But
yes.
I know what you're saying. In order for them to play VGC, they'd get more money if just forcing it to be on the Switch. I completely understand that, yeah. So, what would be the point of Champions if that's not the direction where Pokemon is going to make that the main home for VGC? It's got
be
to
able
be.
to be able to play your dream matches, doing which gimmick is better. This team beats this team, etc.
See, I genuinely think. The reason why I think this will be the main VGC platform is, number one, I understand the argument that they're still going to want people to get a Switch, but I think in order for you to port your Pokemon over to the game and not use rental teams, you will need to use Home on the Switch to then transport it to Champions in order to use it on Champions. So I think that's the way you still get people to buy the Switch games, right? Is by doing that. You can EV train them in the main Pokemon game or do whatever you do, then transfer them over, you know? And maybe in the app you can change the moves around or swap between whatever moves the Pokemon's learn to actually use it. Or maybe there's like exclusive move tutors in the app that Pokemon can learn moves. I think that's the logical step. Probably
Nah,
not.
that's giving them too much credit.
No, I think that's fair. I mean, it's giving them too much credit until there's a currency you can earn with real money to unlock them tutors, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, there will be. You know there will be.
But
It's going to be a free app. There's going to be microtransactions.
100%. But do you not think that's the way to go, though? I don't mean microtransactions. I mean, your argument about them wanting to push the Switch, that is the way to do it, right? You want to have the best Pokemon team, you still need to port them over from your Switch game. You know?
That should be the way it goes.
Because even if you hack your Pokemon in, you still have to have the console to hack them in. I mean, maybe someone will find... I wonder if someone will find a way to hack Pokemon into the actual app itself. Maybe. But I feel like that's too
My
complicated.
guess what will happen is someone will find a way to hack Pokemon into Pokemon Go, which can then be transferred into Home.
Oh yeah, Pokemon Go, Pokemon. I forgot about that. Shit. Yeah, they can be transferred up as well, can't they? I forget Home exists.
They're also... Go is also in the news. I don't know if you saw that.
No. What's it for?
They released a new feature coming to Pokemon Go at NAIC. They're putting bottle caps into Pokemon Go.
What? No way. Oh,
Yes, Cerebi reported on it earlier today.
Please do continue.
We don't know much about it. We just know they're coming, and people are assuming that they're gonna be People are assuming that they're gonna be either locked behind special events or locked behind a paywall. But we do know gold bottle caps are coming. Let me see if Joe, our good buddy Joe Merrick, has more to say about it.
I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but I had a disagreement with American Blue Sky as well.
No way. What was your disagreement with?
I just said that he's a little too caught up in the prospect of the Scarlet and Violet games being better on Switch 2, and I basically just told him that there's gonna be people who are going to tell us that he should make sure that people don't forget that it doesn't excuse the horrific launch of Scarlet and Violet on the Switch 1. He basically replied to me, "No one's saying that." And literally 1 day later, I saw a video on YouTube that basically said the Switch 2 is the savior. Scarlet and Violet has been redeemed or something like that on YouTube. I literally saw it 1 day after, and I was like, you dumb fuck. Of course I know it better than someone who's unrelentingly apologetic for the franchise.
It's a tough one about that, because it's I agree with everyone to the extent that the Switch 2 does play Scarlet and Violet wonderfully well, to the point it's a really good game to play. The bad thing is, it never should have been shit in the first place.
Yeah.
So I can agree with you on that part. I do think it redeems it in terms of a gameplay game, not the reputation part. Now, does it make it a quality game now? Compared to any other Pokemon game, it's just there with them. Whether it makes it better or worse, it's just there with them on the Switch 2. I wouldn't say, I mean, some people throw it over Sword and Shield, some people don't, depending why you play it. I just think it's playable now. And if you like Pokemon, you'll have fun with it. But it doesn't excuse the Switch 1 launch.
I'm not denying it's not playable. I absolutely agree that the increased frame rate and everything that's like actual working now, I think it's incredible. But you shouldn't look past the clear and utter fuck up that was the Switch 1 release.
I would like to give them some
And
credit.
I
though.
know,
Oh, go on.
and I know that when we have a discussion about the current state of affairs with like anything, that people likely just sweep on uncomfortable information under the rug. I mean, same with No Man's Sky, which I think we mentioned before, is one of the best example of how to actually redeem your game, but it still doesn't really excuse what was released initially. And you have to acknowledge that.
I think I don't know Napsa's opinion on this, but I'll say it. I feel like if you hold a video game to the state that it launched throughout the entire life cycle, it's pointless updating the game. Because if Scarlet and Violet launched terribly, which it did, and it never improved whatsoever, not even on the Switch 2, like what I'm trying to say is, it's like saying No Man's Sky. I do think No Man's Sky, everything that's happened to that game has redeemed the launch. I absolutely do. It's a game. We're in a game, time, and place right now where everything costs money. No Man's Sky is one of the only games since launch you buy once, and it's got over 20 DLC updates that have just fleshed out the game and made it phenomenal. And they've not asked for an extra penny. Whereas most games do that. I think, I'm not saying Pokemon, but I think No Man's Sky has redeemed what it's done. I think it fucked up. They know they fucked up. And I think the goodwill has come back over the years. When did the game launch? Like 8 years ago? 9
I
years
think it
ago?
was 2016.
Yeah, it's like 9 years ago, right? And in those 9 years,
Pretty much.
you've never had to pay for a DLC. And the game's constantly gotten better and better and better and better. But because of the launch, are you always going to say, well, it doesn't matter how good the game is now, it was shit, and that's the end of it? Is that how you think of it?
Sorry, I was caught in thought. Could you please repeat that?
Yeah, so like, if a game releases terrible, but over 9 years, they update the game massively, significantly, and they never ask for another penny, do you then say, you never give them credit for making the game as great as it is now? Do you always just say, well, it doesn't matter how good it is now, because of how shit it was at launch, it doesn't matter anything you've done since then?
No. That's not my point in the slightest.
Okay.
I just want people to remember that there are certain things that just happen, and you have to remind yourself of the circumstances as to why that was. Because if you don't, there's this great saying: if you do not heed your history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah.
And that's just what I want people to understand.
No, it's only because when I asked you, does it
That's literally
redeem?
it.
Because I said, does it redeem No Man's Sky? You said, no, it doesn't. And I just thought that was... I understand Scarlet and
Yeah,
Violet not being redeemed.
Because it doesn't redeem the launch. It does the game itself. Like, if you look at the time frame, yeah, you can say it's definitely one of the best games on the market just for the sheer value that you get out of it. But does it redeem the launch? No,
So, can
not even remotely.
a launch ever be redeemed? In your eyes, then? Because in that case, if a game has updated itself for 9 years and never asked for a penny, never asked you to spend anything else, and it's been free for its players and its consumers, and it's never asked you for anything else, you must then think no launch can ever be redeemed at all in that regard.
That's correct. If a launch is messed up, it cannot be redeemed. You only get one chance to make a first impression.
So if Xenoblade were to release buggy and all over the place,
Yeah.
but then over a few years,
No exception.
over the few years, it turned out to be one of the best Xenoblade games, and someone said, "Oh, Twisty, should I play this game?" Would you then go no because it was shit at launch?
Yeah, I'm consistent.
So yeah, I don't agree with that. But Napster, what's your thoughts on that? I want to hear your take on that.
But
Oh.
sorry, just want to quickly mention this one thing. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has a massive issue with memory leak. So if you want to play a game for more than 4 hours, the game might actually crash on you and you lose your progress because it doesn't autosave.
Okay. No.
I'm critical about that. I don't agree that that's a process that should have been made, and I warn people about that.
No, I think that's fair. But I want to hear Napster's thought on the whole redeeming thing. And once a game launches in a bad position, it can never be, you can never recommend it to anyone, even if it's in a good place. Napster, what's your opinion on that?
So I think we're in a wonderful position where we can see three different tales of launch versus reputation, right? You just brought up No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is the cautionary tale of watch how much you hype up your game, because sometimes you can never deliver on what you advertise. There was no chance No Man's Sky was ever going to be the game that it was pitched to be.
Yeah.
Granted, those devs have cared so much about their game. They have done everything in their power to get the trust back of their players, and it's a great game. I've never played it. I've seen people play it, and it's a great game. And while the launch is going to be a tragic tale and a cautionary tale for developers for eternity, I think No Man's Sky has turned itself around into what is a great game. So I think we're looking at two different things here. There's reputation repair and launch repair. It's forever going to be hailed as an awful launch, and that's just history's going to show that,
Oh, of
right?
course, yeah.
But the game's reputation is completely 180'd. It is now considered a masterpiece of a game. Cyberpunk's 2077. Awful launch. Horrendous launch. You might have had to pay for DLC, but is now a really good game. That's like the medium where like the developers had a roadmap. They just didn't quite hit the mark for where they wanted to start, and CD Projekt Red is going to pay for that for a while. We're going to see if The Witcher 4 sells like The Witcher 3 did because they've lost confidence in their consumers.
Yeah.
Scarlet and Violet, it wasn't so much DLC that got us to where it's repaired, but it was a new console. And for half the player base, that's great. Congratulations, you're on a Switch 2. You've got a good Pokemon game. For the other half, sorry, you're still on Switch 1. I mean, it's going to have some update, it's going to have some upgrades, but you're still dealing with a Switch 1 version. It's still like half the game that we wanted it to be in the first place. So whereas No Man's Sky has really turned its reputation around, Cyberpunk got back to where it was supposed to be, but it still hasn't completely regained trust. I don't think Scarlet and Violet has regained that trust that it was supposed to, which is why I'm worried for ZA and Gen 10.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. Obviously, the one question I don't think you've answered is, are you similar in, for example, if someone says to you, "Now, okay, I don't know, have you played Cyberpunk? Have you played No Man's Sky? Have you played any of those games?"
I've not played either of them. I've seen people play them, but I have not played them myself.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of a game that had a bad launch, really good game now. Do you play any games that had a terrible launch, but has turned itself around? Obviously, I've played both No Man's Sky for hundreds of hours, same with Cyberpunk. I don't know if there's any games you've actually played that had a shit launch that now is a really good game. Do you have any games that you've played that are like that?
Can't think of any off the top of the dome.
Okay, so
But I also play a very consistent amount of games, so...
So if someone comes to you and says, "Oh, from what you've seen, would you recommend Cyberpunk?" Would you go A, no, because it launched really shit despite being how good it is now? Or B, absolutely, right now it's a fantastic game to play? Because if people are wanting to play it in its current form, I see no reason to say no to them. Because I don't understand Scarlet and Violet on the Switch 1. I'm not talking about Scarlet and Violet because I agree with Twisty. You can't redeem how shit that was. Because having a whole new console does not fix the problem. I 100% agree. I'm just talking about the No Man's Sky, more No Man's Sky than Cyberpunk. But if someone said to you, "Napster, can you recommend me this game?" Would you say no because it had a shit launch? Or would you go, "Yeah, I can recommend it now. It's a really good game for its price"? How would you handle that?
Yeah, like, I'd recommend No Man's Sky. I think a lot of it is just seeing how much the devs are willing to do to earn back that trust for an awful launch. Like, BDSP is another example, right? Day one patch because the start screen didn't work. Start screen didn't work at all. Immediately that turned a lot of players off. There wasn't a lot of work put into fixing anything else. There were still problems with the game.
Yeah.
Like, there are ways for a developer to earn back that consumer trust. And that's the biggest thing, is how much does your dev care to earn back that consumer trust? It's not the launch that determines a game, it's the care that the company puts into the game that matters. So, like, would I have recommended No Man's Sky a year after it came out? Probably not. It was
Of
still in the
course not.
process of being worked on.
100%
But,
agree.
like, 2022 No Man's Sky, sure, I could probably get on board with that. 2025, I can absolutely get on board with that.
So yeah, I think that's where that's why I wanted to see your opinion on that, because when me and Twisty's like, it doesn't matter how good a game is now, doesn't matter how great or how good the devs have been over 9 years, because it launched shit, I will never recommend it to anyone. That's kind of mad to me.
That's again a misrepresentation.
No, because you said that. I said, would you recommend not Cyberpunk, sorry, No Man's Sky after 9 years of free development, where it's a really good game now, or would you say no because of its launch? And you said, well, no, because of how shit the launch was, you wouldn't recommend it. Because you said you remain consistent. Same with Xenoblade 2, right? So would you not recommend it, even though it's now a fantastic game, just because the launch was bad?
Okay, maybe it's not a misrepresentation. It's that I misunderstood the point. That's my
Okay.
bad.
Okay.
I would combine the two actually. I would definitely say it's a great game. It launched like an absolute piece of shit, but they turned the ship around somehow.
Okay.
I want people to be aware that when something doesn't launch properly, that you need to address it. You need to have a focus point on that.
Yeah, I agree with
Because
that.
if a developer isn't willing to have a game released in a state where it's properly playable, that should be put back on the developer.
Yeah, I agree.
100%.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
no, yeah.
maybe I just misunderstood that point. I throw my hands up for that.
No, it's cool. It's just because I know you're a fair person in regard to where, like, you know, if a Pokemon game came out, if someone said to me, "Oh, yo, man, I've got the Switch 2. This is the first time buying a Nintendo console, and I want to try Pokemon Scarlet and Violet." My first thing to them would be, "Are you getting it on Switch 1 or Switch 2?" And if they're like, "Oh no, I've got a Switch 2," I'd be like, "Okay, then buy it then, because you can actually play the game." If someone on the Switch 1 said, "Should I get this game?" Nah, don't do it. Don't fucking do it. But on Switch 1, it's playable. Doesn't excuse what the fuck Nintendo done. Napster's right, you're right. A whole console should not fix the problem. It should have launched stable. But if someone were to ask me, do you think I should get the game? I'd be like, yeah, man, it's a good time on a Switch 2, because it is. But on a Switch 1, it's fucking embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? Like, so.
By the way,
And I think another thing you can say to people is, yeah, man, I recommend getting Cyberpunk, but hey, when their next game launches, don't pre-order it. Be careful, because this game launched like a bag of shit. I think that's fair too, because don't get burnt twice. So I think I can agree with you on that one. Like, be cautious. But like, a video game right now that's phenomenal, absolutely, go for it. Cyberpunk right now, unbelievable. I mean, it's literally a Cyberpunk 2.0 update because of how many changes the game had. The game was a car crash on launch. Fucking car crash. One of the most, what's the word called? Where you get your money back. Refunded. One of the most refunded games, probably on the PlayStation when it launched back in 2021, was it? Or before that?
I think it was 21.
Maybe. But yeah, no, I don't know. I thought it was a really interesting topic, but yeah, you gotta be careful with the devs, man.
Just a quick joke for that. Scarlet and Violet actually had very important DLC. It's called the Switch 2.
I mean, I'm going to say something. Twisty's going to disagree. We'll wrap it up here, but I'm going to say something. Twisty's going to disagree, because I know Twisty hates Pokemon Company. I will give them credit on one thing, right? Now, let me continue my point before Twisty roasts me alive, right? The good thing is, at least we don't have to pay for the Switch 2 upgrade. Like, with Breath of the Wild, with those type of games, you have to pay like $10 to upgrade it. At least Scarlet and Violet, you don't. Now, with how shit the game was, They never should have made us pay. So I'm glad they didn't. It would have been unacceptable. But at least we don't have to pay for the upgrade, right? If you've got Scarlet and Violet and you've got a brand new shiny, you've just sold your arm for the Switch 2, then go for it, But
At least
yeah.
pick one of your kidneys. You have two.
I think I've only got one after the 1 litre of alcohol, I think. Potentially.
No, actually, I'm just gonna say it outright. I am not gonna disagree with you on that in any capacity. It's like the one good thing that Pokemon Company has done within the last 3 years.
See, do you know why I thought you was going to disagree? Because I thought you was going to go, but you have to pay for it. You have to pay $400 to be able to access it. That's what I thought you was going to rebuttal with.
You don't buy the console just for Scarlet and Violet.
Oh yeah, if any of you have paid...
I mean, there are people who are going to do that, and I mean, if you have the money to just throw around like that, please give me some. I would like a Switch too.
Dang, I've been switched to and wrong.
if...
No, but in general, you don't purchase like a big piece of tech like that just for one product. Again, there are examples that contradict the statement, but in general speaking, so I don't see like the selling point in this department. If they would have had an upgrade pack, I would have absolutely called out Game Freak for being greedy sacks of bitches, but I don't see it like that.
Before we wrap up on the whole episode, just a little bit of Joe Merrick slander real quickly. I remember
I'm all up on that.
I remember when the Switch 2 update came out, Scarlet and Violet, and he has a video that he's updated on his YouTube channel, the Cerebi YouTube channel, and his word for word, I believe, was, even though I personally didn't feel like Scarlet and Violet had many issues, right? That's what he said word for word. And then he says, but after playing the Switch 2, I can see the difference. And I'm like, bro, you can only see the difference after playing the Switch 2 version. Come on, bro. I know the difference because it was a PowerPoint. That's the fucking difference. Like, I do think he's over... He's never really... I've noticed with Joe, and a lot of you will notice this, he doesn't hate on main series Pokemon. He never will. Pokemon Go, he'll slander all day. He's more than happy to slander Niantic, but he will never slander the Pokemon Company. Ever. There's only one time...
Would you criticize your sugar daddy?
Napstar, would I ever criticise you?
I knew that was coming. I knew right where that joke was going.
God damn it. I smashed it. I smashed it.
Yes, you understood the assignment.
I smashed it. Technically, because you didn't say sugar mommy, I didn't ask Sophie, right? Because she's my sugar mommy. But yeah, the only time Joe Merrick's ever slandered the Pokemon Company was when Sword and Shield did Dexit. That was the one time, and he quickly backtracked on that and said, well, actually, no, I kind of see why it is. And he never talks bad about the main series, ever. Like, it's mad. And I'm like, bro, what do you mean?
No, he's a spineless bitch. Go on record, clip this, put it on Twitter. Joe Merrick, you're a spineless bitch.
Joe, listen, I didn't say that, alright? I just think you're over... I think you need to hold Pokemon Company a little bit more responsible. I think, listen, they're the biggest franchise.
Yeah, stop being a spineless bitch.
They're the biggest...
This is my words. This is not MFG. This is not Flop. This is not Napstar. This is me talking, Twisty. You're a spineless bitch still.
Could you argue with Pokemon Company more than you do with people in your Twitter tweets, please? That would be great. He argues a lot, bro.
Off top of the dome. But Twisty, if you had to be locked in a room having a conversation with one of them, Joe Merrick or Verlisify?
I hope you give me a gun because I will shoot myself twice.
Why would you punish yourself that bad? Holy shit. Although, let's give Joe Merrick credit for one thing. He actually got the prophecy right about Wolfie's Incineroar. You've probably seen the tweet, right, Nap?
Yeah.
Like, I'll give Joe some credit. He got that right. But I know a couple people was coming for him in his Twitter. I just want to see if there was anything before we go. Let me just have a little quick gander through. Let's take a look. Guys, I think Switch 2 might be doing alright in Japan.
Atlas makes actually an interesting point. I bought Switch 2 mainly for the GameCube titles, got the Mario Kart bundle, so I wouldn't have just bought it for the NSO stuff. Loved it. What is this podcast about? Hey Colleen, it's basically about currently more like Nintendo-y stuff. It's like just gaming all around. Yeah, we're talking about stuff and things.
Stuff and things.
Yeah, so it used to be like just Pokemon, but we've like expanded our horizon, so to speak, to all kinds of gaming related
Well,
topics.
it's more about
We're probably
just-
gonna be talking.
It's more about what's relevant at the time of recording, right? When there's something big that happens
Yeah.
in gaming, we just talk about what's relevant in that week, really, with a little
Yeah.
sprinkle of Pokemon hate here and there, you know?
Right, then we had to talk about the Xbox
Not
showcase
hate,
last week.
criticism.
Yeah, the Xbox was last week as well, right? I'm just going to see
Yeah.
if people are really quick to slander Joe about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, so I just want to see how many people hate on him.
Not slander, criticize.
Um,
One of those is permissible in court.
I do have a question before we go. Why doesn't Legends EA, no Legends EA, why doesn't Pokemon Legends Arceus, Animal Crossing, Super Smash Brothers, some other popular Nintendo Switch games, why don't any of them have an update? Just a question.
Well, Legends Arceus, because we're getting another Legends game in 3 months, 4 months. That kind of tracks. They're going to want people to transition to the new Legends game.
I mean,
Animal Crossing for the same reason.
You could use that argument for fucking what's it called? You could use that argument, but except they gave an upgrade to both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. With that logic, they would have just done Tears of the Kingdom, no? If they wanted you to just play the most recent one, they would have just done it to one, right?
I think it's because of the fact that they're linked games. Haha, linked.
Hey!
Because
Nice! Hey, you high rolled
Tears
on
of the
that one,
Kingdom
bro.
I fucking hate it here.
because Tears of the Kingdom is a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild is so wildly popular, sales numbers don't lie. There are still people that
They
are going
are
to want to play Breath of
TechW.
the Wild.
Okay. So if it's because Legends is coming out soon, Animal Crossing potentially coming out soon, what about Super Smash Bros?
I mean, Smash played really well on the Switch anyways. Like, it did... All the Switch games got an indirect upgrade because of the loading time drop. And that's really the only complaint that there was with Smash, to my knowledge, was loading time, outside of just super sweaty players that need to occasionally learn what deodorant is.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's weird that Scarlet and Violet got an upgrade, but Legends didn't. Like, I just thought that was a bit weird. I mean, maybe it didn't need one. It probably didn't need one, to be fair, but it's the fact that now I can play Scarlet and Violet at 60 frames and not Legends, and that makes me so sad. That makes me so sad. Oh no.
But it's not really surprised because, let's face it, Game Freak kind of left Legends Arceus in the dust anyway.
Yeah, they sort of threw it out there, like, you know when you have your first child, which would have been Sword and Shield, and then, you know, your middle child is your experiment. You just go, oh, I don't know, fuck it, go out the front door, do something with your life. And then the youngest child's their favourite baby, right? So it's like, Legends was just threw out to the wild, and then fucking Scarlet and Violet came along.
Yep.
Poor Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee left in the dust, right? To be honest, mate, there was nothing else they could have done with that game. The fuck could they have done? You know, you can't.
It basically was a cross promotion game with Pokemon Go. So
Yeah, whereas Legends actually had a lot of it. But with that being said, I feel like that's that, you know. Is there anything else you boys want to shout? I know Naps has probably needed to go for the last 45 minutes, but still. I've not kept him captive.
It's all good.
I promise you.
I just got a new present, so I'm all good. I just got a copy of Pokemon Platinum put into my hands.
Oh, what, from Twin?
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Twin. We love Twin. Oh, make sure to tell Twin I said hello. But with that being said, folks,
Me as well. Shout out to Twin.
Twisty did say beforehand, he said, Flob, listen, if you don't let me do the outro, I will kidnap your father. And I said, he's quite heavy, Twisty, so you might want to be careful. But Twisty, here's your outro, my friend. Go
Do
ahead.
not accept this fake news reporting. The fuck, man.
We don't do fake news here, motherfuckers. We do truth. Hi,
You're
Twin.
still on Twitter, so fake news is a daily thing for you.
Listen, I do news about men in oil, with oil all over their body and their underwear, throwing each other to the mat. Okay.
I'm not saying you're the one posting fake news. I'm just saying you have to deal with fake news a lot.
True, I do have to do it. There's that one guy on Twitter called Naps the Potato, and he just keeps posting fake shit, and I'm like, bro, he's not even credible. He's not even credible. I don't know why so many people follow what he says.
Yeah, I post so much.
Also, before we go,
When even is the last time I posted something?
everyone say hello to Spyro.
Hi, Spyro.
Hey, Spyro. Yes, my totally constant posting since my last post on November 23rd, 2024.
Where are you going? Where are you running? Where are you running? Where are you
Why
running?
are you running?
Why are you running? Excuse me, kitty cat. No. No. It's a bad kitty cat. Okay, man. Yo, he's heavy, you know. He's so big. Right, folks, listen. Here's the outro, right? I've been MFG. My brother Twisty. My other brother Napster. It's been a fun stream, man. It's been a fun stream. Shout out to everyone for the support and all the love. There is going to be more YouTube stuff going on. I need to record Minecraft tomorrow at some point, but I've got work, so it can wait, alright? It can wait. GTA Part 4 Tuesday, so I need to get them videos recorded. But other than that, I'll speak to you soon, and I'll upload this soon on the channel, alright? And then maybe Twisty can go back and listen to his helium voice. So, yeah. Honestly, that was mad. Right, speak to you all in a bit. Peace.
Peace.
Okay. Oh, I can't shut it up. Okay, no, I can. No, I can't. Oh, man. No. I can't stop the stream.
Bonus content.
But I've ended it on Twitch and I